Sure did. Was the 441 Martians. Peace, love, and all that goodness. Y'all step on in here with another episode, another download of Wise Vibes. I'm your Astro Tour Guide, Wise Eye. We're going to tap on Aries progressions today. Well, I'm going to go all the way down the line with each sun sign. We're going to go Aries all the way around through Pisces, but we're going to involve the wheel of progression in these downloads, and we're going to learn how energy transgress through the natal chart because, energy doesn't stay still. So you may be born a Gemini sun, but that Gemini sun progress into Cancer at some point and then on to Leo. So you want to involve the awareness of where this progression may be. And each planet, you can do this with each planet, but we're dealing with the sun sign, and we're going to kick things off with Aries, none other, you know what I'm saying, than the baby, the leader of the astro. Let's get into the first slide. So, astro in motion. You got the wheel over here on the left, and as you can see, the arrows, they are spinning counterclockwise and on this astro clock, if you will. And each day would represent a year in a progressed chart. For example, the entire year that you exist on Earth with that sun sign, it will represent a progressed degree in your natal chart. So you could be born 16 degrees in Virgo. The next year that you exist, you're going to be 17 degrees Virgo. The second year, you're going to be 18 degrees Virgo, and so on and so forth until you get further down the wheel. And we're dealing with, not whole sign, but 30-degree houses. The true astrology is a little different than that, but we're dealing with equal sign, 30-degree houses with this download, just to keep things simple. But furthermore, we're talking about Aries, so we're on 0 degrees Aries, and we're going to go through the progression of Aries, Taurus, and Gemini, because that will give you about 30 years per space, and that's about 90. The human lives about 90 to 110 years in a extreme case. So we'll just deal with the three major movements in the sun, and how they ascend through the energy, because this is a energy in motion that is involving an ascension process. They gain intel, which is more intelligence to add to their avatar, and within that avatar there's a spirit guiding them, but there's also a soul that downloads these experiences and downloads these intelligences that they retrieve from this dimension, placing it into a soul space where your soul lies, in that Kundalini energy. That Kundalini is able to rise and ascend the physical into the spiritual aspect. So Aries is a cardinal sign. It kicks things off, such as Libra, such as Cancer, and Capricorn. That's the cardinal cross. And the cardinal cross is usually first to do things. A lot of times they may be even, difficult to complete things, but they're always first to do things. Usually great leaders usually have a visionary type mindset and eye for the future, because they're usually the first one to get out in the forefront. So imagine if you're leading the pack in a forest hunt, you're going to want to have an awareness that allows you to scan the entire forest ahead of the pack so that you keeping the followers safe as much as you're able to. And I am is the mantra for Aries. They are rulership of Mars exalted in that sun sign, because the sun comes up in spring, which is Aries season, and it it kicks off the new vegetation. It allows new growth and new life to begin. So it's strongest, and that's the only thing that exaltation means. It's the most strong space it can be. And for Aries, we're looking at the sun. And for this download, we're going to call it the spiritual warrior, because Aries can develop into a spiritual warrior, and we'll show you how a few ways that they may do. Let's get into the first set of deacons, because you have 0 degrees of Aries, and we're going to go 30 degrees through this self, and that'll be this portion of the wheel right here, because you're starting off the wheel right here and you're going around right here. So self-awareness is the first house. There's a particular set of things that involve itself in each house, and we're just going to tap into a few of the basics just so you to get the idea. But there's numerous things that belong in each portion of these houses, and each portion of the house is this little pie right here. Each one of those are broken down into Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, all the way around the wheel. Da. But for the progression, your sun will never make it, past 3 houses. So there's a specific focus for that life that you're involved in. So that sun sign is going to start out over here, 0 degrees, and we're going to progress all the way around. So at the top, I have the deacons, and I've seen deacons broken down in a multitude of ways, but I like this breakdown. So we're going to stick with the fire sign setup, because I've seen how you can break it down, and the deacons are based on the order of the planets, and that's a little bit different. But for this download, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So you're going to deal with 10 degrees per sign. So in the progression of Aries in the self-awareness, it uses Arian, Leo, and Sagittarius energy to gain self-awareness. And I have a little list of stuff. Let's read them off real quick. Doing things and learning one's limits and strengths. Finding the truth to the world. Childlike and pure, often gullible but very passionate, near a divine feminine, Pisces, such as a child would with his mother, because, in reverse is right there, the Pisces. Pisces is right next to Aries. Accident prone, learns the hard way at times, falls and gets back up. Preparation for Taurus progression. So the accident prone, they're kind of like the ram that their actual spirit animal represents. And if you notice, rams, they're very top of the mountain, very daring, very on the edge creatures. They really don't do much but just hang on the edge of a mountain. And then as the males, they fight heads up, and they do this for territorial rights, and they do this for reproductive rights, because only the strongest gets to breed with the female in heat at the time. So they may go heads up until one of them gives up, and the winner proceeds with the kits, the booty, the prize. And that's basically what you're looking at with the Aries in the first house progressing through that 10 degrees is just going to, just like a baby learning how to walk. And, babies learning how to walk, they're going to bump their head, they're going to fall and get back up again. But at some point, they get real good at it and they start running, And then Leo, the next 10 degrees, you get a little more confident in the way that you walk, and you get a little bit more focused and fixed in the way that you're able to express yourself, because Leo is a fixed sign and is able to, reserve itself for the future. It's not going to burn itself out so fast, because the Aries is cardinal, and cardinal can burn out a little bit quick. It can give way, and it may need naps. Aries sun or Aries major chart placements, they definitely can take naps because they burn out. They go super hard, then they may burn out. But anyway, you're dealing with the 10 degrees of Leo. That 10 degrees of Leo is, like I said, it's getting more fixed and it's reserving itself. Leo, the lions, they are, they go hunt, they predator, 10% of the day, and the other 88% of the day, they're off sleeping, chilling, doing nothing, reserving themselves. Just when they have to get back up again and do that amazing feat that they have to do every time that they need to eat, they have to do something very daring, because sometimes that can cost them their life if they hunt and they calculate their prey in the wrong manner. They can end up being the prey, So Leo has to be very smart, focused on reservation, getting through those self-awareness, objective, because the gullible nature of one in this progression is apparent, because they're learning the self, they're learning how to deal with the self, and there's certain things that they may be very passionate, like babies when they cry for their milk. They can be super passionate, but they can be a little bit obnoxious and a little bit out of pocket. So they're still getting into toning and tuning, fine-tuning that sound that they're so, brilliant at having, because Aries is a exalted space once it gets through its progressions. And once you get into the next 10 degrees of Sagittarius, that third decan, you're looking at philosophy and realization, and you're looking at realization in a new standpoint to the space where you're able to really attach that to a self-awareness of who you are in a core space, because now you've learned how to walk, you learn how to manage your balance, and now in that mutable space of Sagittarius is the strongest fire sign. And typically the mutable signs are the strongest, because they're able to spurt that that powerful energy at any given moment. It's kind of like a control energy. It's not as lazy as Leo, but it's not as out of control as Aries. It's a very magical energy with mutable signs. They're able to give. They're more like a channeler. They're able to give whenever they want. They can turn the channel whatever space they need. But that's very key with self-awareness. Sagittarius can be very, glitzy, glam, look at me, how do you like my outfit type of energy. You know what I'm saying? So they're confident enough to put on a display and allow others to show who they are, and it can inspire others as they are, their aura is reflecting this progression of self-awareness. So let's get into the next slide, because you're going to Taurus energy, and that's about the values. So self-love, the heart space is explored once reaching Taurus, and the focus tends to remain selfish. And, it was definitely selfish when we're in this Aries, but once you get to Taurus, it's about being selfish. And you have the self-care, which is very important in this process. Self-worth and values are built or even learned. Strength and focus can be developed as well. So the confidence to speak up is being built up for the next progression that's going into Gemini. And dealing with this self-love, this self-care, this self-pleasure, you're involving these deacons, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, to get through this second house of realization. And one thing I neglected to speak about, even when we're dealing with progressions, you're always going to want to keep in mind what that opposite house is. So when we was progressing, it's in the self of Aries, you're going to want to keep in mind that self-awareness is very much key in partnerships. You learn yourself a lot in partnerships. So Aries may have a lot of partnerships or a lot of friends or a lot of, different people that they meet throughout their life because the self-awareness is reflected in partnerships. So as we're in Taurus, it's the same thing. You're dealing with self-values because the Scorpio is other people's values, other people's emotions, and the intimacy with others. This Taurus energy is the intimacy with self. So looking at Taurus, 10 degrees, you're tapping into that heart space of generosity, and the generosity can only come from loving and having a value for yourself, because generosity with that gullible nature back in Aries can get you late. You give out too much, being too selfish and thinking everything is for you can also get you late. That'll get you too much into your 8th house, and you're not in your value of your Taurus. You're not giving yourself the value and the self-worth. Taurus may deal with, self-worth values or self-esteem values because it's a cruel world out here. Anywhere you go, people, really don't care how you handle your emotional self. They just want to get to their glitz, glam, and ego, and leave. Most of the time, this is how it goes. But most people ignore other people's feelings or emotions, so it's hard to even qualify your own self when you're getting a lot of negativity out in the day-to-day matrix or the day-to-day world, or even inside of your home, depending on how you're living. You never know. But you have to have that grounded nature, which Taurus is grounded. We're dealing with a grounded space because the first progression was the fire, the creation. And now we're getting grounded with this Taurus energy. And then we're going to go through these deacons as Taurus would be fixed. This second house starts off a fixed notion. So Taurus knows how to, focus their will, and then once they get focused in on their will, they're able to line up the target and go just like a Taurus bull, a bull ram would. If you give them a red, if you give him a red carpet and wave it in front of him, he's going to get lined up and he's going to aim and charge, and then there's no stopping him once he gets locked in the target. So that's kind of what Taurus is all about in those first 10 degrees, trying to get to that Virgo energy, because Virgo is a progression of purity. So now that you have the might and you have the aim and the focus of that Taurus bull energy, and that that flag has been waved, you have your head down and you're kicking up dust. You're kicking up so much dust, you need a little bit of purity. You need some cleansing. Virgo is here to cleanse you. You get 10 degrees of Virgo going through those self-values. You're able to get the dust and the dirt off of you, and you're able to remain focused on that carpet, that magic red carpet that they're waving in front of you. And ooh boy, you're going to get that carpet. Don't worry about it. Just keep that carpet in front of me. I'm going to get it. You know how the bull is. They be playing them games on the Matador videos and ESPN. I remember I used to watch the bull riding and, you know, all those different things. But it's interesting to see how they treat that bull. But that bull, once he get his off, he done broke a few faces and threw a few people up against the damn wall. He gonna get his issue. So going through to Virgo, that purity is needed. So you don't get too egoic, because we're still dealing with sun sign progressions, and you don't want to be too heavy on the bull-ish. You want to get a clear mindset and a clear focus, and you want to stay grounded and humble with this self-value, because it's very, very powerful energy with the Taurus space. So purity in Virgo is very key. Virgo is a mutable sign, and that mutable sign is very, you know, like I said about the last mutable, they are very strong in their element. They have the ability to turn it off and turn it on whenever they need to. They have that focus and also that resilience to jump off into different mindsets or different standpoints. So Virgo is mutable and super strong in a grounded space, because the next 10 degrees is Capricorn. And if you know anything about Capricorn, they don't play around. They get right to the business. They go straight to it. So now that you have the purity and you have your eyes on that red carpet, the Matador still waving that shit in front of your face, you got Capricorn to just catapult you into full and overdrive so that you can get to that destination and you can pin the tail on a donkey. And not only that, you can crush the whole donkey, you know, however you want to look at that metaphor. 10 degrees of Capricorn, you're dealing with the reputation, and you're dealing with the energy of being able to involve yourself with a legacy, or bring the dreams to physical, bring something to the physical self. So if you're putting the 10 degrees of Capricorn in this Taurus values, you're going to build a self-value that is very non-stop, unstoppable, shall I say, because there's no one that can get you riled up, get you out of place. Capricorn is usually super, super chill until you piss them all the way off and over the edge. And like I said, if you get this bull in the wrong corner, he's going to get your head off. So these 10 degrees in Capricorn is closing up the self-value that this progression of the spiritual warrior, because it's now found self-truth or self-values and its truth in the first house. The second house is now self-values and the love that they can apply for themselves, the love and the respect that they can, you know, involve themselves in, the way that they treat themselves in a, you know, setting of people that do not treat themselves well or treat you well. You can stay grounded and stay in a pocket that is not, you know, ungrounded. This is the whole involvement with the second house. So we're moving on to the next slide, and we're going to deal with the third house of Gemini. And Gemini, as you can see, is Capricorn energy. And we're going to deal with the social awareness and the networking, because now you have self-values. It's now time to go out and to profess a truth that is just like the Aries sun. It's going to birth new light. It's going to birth new earth. It's going to birth a new, you know, life for the rest of the 4 seasons until you get back to Aries, because you're going to go through spring, then you're going to go through summer. It's going to get super hot. Everything's going to be very, very uncomfortable. In most states, it's going to be too hot, but everything is thriving in the ecosystem, in the earth. And you're going to get to the fall, when the fall starts to die off. And then the winter is reserving, and it's holding steady, and it's cleansing, purifying, and it's getting to the next stage of rebirth. So the social awareness is key, because the network is important. The way that the earth and the system, solar system, and everything, the way everything connects and networks, the involvement of the astrology and the involvement of these mythologies that we listen to and read in our Bibles and our Qurans and our tablets. All of these different things are networking skills to keep up the awareness. You know what I'm saying? So communication is key, and if you pay attention to any Gemini that is on TV, they've changed the world in some fashion. I'm gonna just stick to musicians and rappers and creators. Let's go down a list of Geminis that you can think of. They changed the world, or they changed the dynamic of things. And while we're talking about this in current time, Andre 3000 just came out last week with a album that is high frequency. It is very pivotal to listen to, because it's not a snatch and grab publicity energy. It's not a I'm gonna make some videos and make some money and do a tour on this. This is a I'm going to align my chakras, and I'm going to allow my people to, you know, hear what music can really do for you. And so many, years of music that is toxic and music that is so low vibrational. Let's put something out like this. We've had Kendrick Lamar. We regressing. We got Andre 3000, but before that, you got Kendrick Lamar. He's coming out with albums like he did last year that changes the diaspora. Every time he comes out with an album, he changes the thought process of the entire, culture. And then you go back before that, Kanye West was doing his thing, and then you get all these different energies when you deal with Gemini, because it's the social glue to awareness. And these things, these people, these energies, they bring the awareness together. So the exalted sun, like I said, is the rebirth. It learns how to get along with others. It finds their ability to influence, such as the sunlight does, like we were speaking earlier. Speaking and being around others as, developed. This becomes a natural position, because so many will come to view the sunlight. Like I said, so many come to view Kendrick Lamar. So many come to view Andre 3000. So many come to view Prince. So many come to view these energies that come in a Gemini form. Biggie, Tupac, these people, Allen Iverson. Just go down the list of Geminis, and if they're on TV, they for sure change the whole dynamic of whatever they were involved in. Because spiritual warriors, they fight for what they believe in. And the Martian is what a spiritual warrior is involved in. So let's go through the deacons. We went through Gemini, but we got 10 degrees of that. So once you've gotten to that ability to say what is real, George Bush doesn't care about black people. That's that Kanye West. He was shaking in his boots. You can watch the feed. Go back and watch that video. He was shaking in his boots when he said that shit. Watch the whole video, and he was stuttering. He was shaking. He wouldn't look nowhere, but he said it, so he got through it. He got it out, and he always has these opposite moments. But the next time when he did it, he had some Hennessy to keep his courage. So he snatched the mic, and he won't shaking in his boots. He won't shaking in his boots no more. He was like, fuck that. Beyonce had the best album. Y'all need to wake up. Because the awareness is what Gemini is all about. We're not going to play games on Gemini time. They're going to give you the awareness because they know all. So 10 more degrees, Libra is going to take that know all and is going to love all. It's going to find that ability to, offer whatever it is that they're networking about or fighting about spiritually. This Libra 10 degrees is going to allow them to get into the space of self-love, indulging in the people or what the people may need, because you got the 10 degrees of not self-love, but love for others. Did I say that 2 times? Love for others. the love that you're able to give to others, and you're going to, you develop that from self-love in that second house is what I was trying to say. And it's going to leak over into the communication, because the awareness needs to come from a space of love, not just awareness of anything. Although Gemini is like a library, because they read all the books, they read all the information, they listen to all the TV shows, they listen to all the stuff, even the stuff that they don't really like, they just keep up with it so that they can be aware, that so that their networking abilities is capable of keeping up with others. That makes sense? So to keep it less vain, the Libra energy is giving you that 10 degrees of love to involve with others and able to penetrate the masses with a genuine kindness that takes over. And, if you notice these few people that I was speaking about, a lot of the things that they do, like they're doing it for the people. Like the first song, Andre 3000, the title is I swear I wanted to do a rap album, but this is the way the wind blew, literally. And that's Libra energy. He wanted to do something awareness driven and thought provoking that's going to allow an ascension of the network, and his ability to travel through those deacons of ascension. Because 10 more degrees, it's about changing the diaspora. Changing the diaspora. Y'all be studying so much because my mind be thinking so fast and downloading or whatever the hell that I'm trying to get out. And my speech just be like slow motion. So always excuse me when I'm stuttering, because I'm just trying to get this shit out as fast as I'm hearing it come out. Anyway, you have that Aquarius energy. That Aquarius energy is looking to the future. They're like the Terminator, Back to the Future, all in one. All that shit in one, because they are so old school and connected to the original that they understand the future even more than others. So that deacon is important to complete this third house of communication, because that self-awareness and that networking needs to be properly placed, and it needs to build a awareness of the future, not just an awareness of the times that we're in. If you think about any of these Geminis that exist, the reason that they changed the world or changed the energy is because they're prophetic connections to what is real is them going through these deacons. The first 10 degrees of Gemini, the next 10 degrees in Libra, and the last 10 degrees of Aquarius. And that's completing that communication. Let's get to the last slide, because that's pretty much what I was just saying. You have that spiritual warrior in a 90-degree year, a progressed sun chart. You're going through the leader, the Aries energy, the manager, the Taurus energy, the prophet, the Gemini energy. And, the Aries was built off of self-awareness. They become a leader, that they're thought-provoking, and their self-awareness is able to lead others, because some people may not be as self-aware as the Aries or confident enough to even do something and fall in front of others. Baby don't care if they fall. They're going to get right up and laugh, cry, whatever the hell, and it's going to be cool. When you get a little older, you get embarrassed and look like, oh man, I wish they didn't see that. But the manager, Taurus energy, it developed into the intuitive understanding. So that progression, that intuition of knowing self, you're able to develop that kind of that motherly quality, because Taurus energy, if you put it in the moon, is a exaltation, and the moon is mother energy. So that exaltation would be qualified in a intuitive standpoint. And then you're getting into those last 30 years, that prophet, that Gemini energy, and it uses that ability to reach others and teach others. And that's the whole spiritual walk in a 90-degree, 90-year earth realm walk. And that's progressions in Aries, y'all. Thank y'all. Like, share, subscribe. Tap into the donations. More Dreams. Cash at me. Outside. Moordreamzllc at Yahoo. You need a little reading. You need a little bit of advice. You need to know what the hell I just said. Why did I say, what I said? You want to say what's up, wise. You want to tap in and do some business. You want to tap in and talk about some business. You want to tap in and build. Hit my Yahoo. That's my little website right there. You can see it on the screen. Moordreamz.universe. But you got the dot in between the universe. That's my little subspace. So just hold it down. We're going to get right. But y'all be blessed. Y'all be peace. Stay tuned for the next progressions installment. We're going to do Taurus, and then we'll walk through the same 90-degree cycle as we did with this one. And you're able to see how Taurus develops in its walk and what it's here to do. So y'all be loved. Y'all be blessed. Ether thumbs up. 1.